Hello, it's Lars from Glutinous Maximus Sourdough. In today's video, we're going to make some garlic herb sourdough bread. For this, we'll need 1,000 grams of flour, which is a combination of 800 grams of bread flour and 200 grams of whole wheat flour, 200 grams of active sourdough starter, about 35 to 40 grams of fresh roasted garlic, 6 grams of Herbs de Provence, and 20 grams of salt, plus 650 grams of water. But first we're only going to add 600 grams to the starter. Add the remaining 50 grams of water after the first hour of fermentolyse. Okay, so we'll start by we're going to mix the Herbs de Provence into the flour. And this will help us mix up the bread flour and the wheat flour and distribute the Herbs de Provence throughout. Now we will disperse the starter with the water. This has been heated up to about 93 degrees. Once that's fully dispersed, we will add the flour and herb mixture. Okay, we'll cover and let fermentolyse for 1 hour. So fermentolyse has finished. 60 minutes has gone by. And we're going to add the 20 grams of salt, the 35 grams of roasted garlic, okay, and the remaining 50 grams of water. And we're just going to take that and work it all in. Cover that up, let it rest for 30 minutes, and we'll start stretch and folds.
We'll start our first set of stretch and folds by grabbing the edge of the dough, folding it up over onto itself, and just work our way around the bowl. For the second set of stretch and folds, we'll just repeat the procedure. This is 30 minutes later. Fold the dough up over on top of itself, work our way around the bowl. For the third set, we'll repeat this process, and you'll see at this point the dough is starting to get smoother and tighter. On the fourth set, we'll do a coil fold. Just pull it up, let it fold under itself. Just spin the bowl around a few times. And the final set, we'll do one more set of coil folds. Quick and easy. Now the dough can bulk ferment. After the dough has bulk fermented for an additional 3 to 5 hours, depending on your ambient temperature, we're going to divide and shape the dough and allow it a 30-minute bench rest before we transfer it to the banneton baskets. So I transfer my dough to a floured surface, and then I carefully divide as evenly as possible. Kind of stretch the dough out a little bit, fold it up onto itself, and then gently work the dough, pulling the outer skin tight into a ball without degassing, placing it gently onto the surface. Do the same thing with the second loaf, and I just kind of rotate it around my hand while pulling in and smoothing out the dough. Add a light dusting of flour on the top, and then we will take a clean kitchen towel, cover the dough, and allow it to bench rest for at least 30 minutes. After the bench rest is complete, we can do a final shaping onto the dough for the bitard shape. And we'll just roll it up nice and tight, as you see here. Fold the corners in, do a tight roll, then transfer it to the basket. After the overnight cold retard, we will preheat our oven to 500 degrees with the Dutch oven. Allow it to come to temperature. Place the loaf in, score it. Bake for 450 degrees at 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, we will remove the lid. Put it back in for an additional 20 minutes, and our first loaf is complete. We will transfer that loaf to a cooling rack, and we really need to let the loaf cool for several hours until it comes to room temperature before you slice into the bread. Otherwise, the crumb will still be damp and it'll start sticking to your knife. So, as much as we all love cutting into a warm loaf of bread, allowing it to completely cool to room temperature is really the best option to get nice slices. Now we get the oven back up to temperature, place the second loaf in, score it, bake for 20 minutes at 450 with the lid on. Remove the lid, place it back in the oven for 20 minutes, and continue to bake until we get our second loaf complete. We will remove that from the Dutch oven and place it onto the cooling rack and allow the loaf to fully cool off to room temperature. After the loaves have cooled, we will slice into the first loaf to take a look at the inside. Here's a nice inside crumb shot. Got a little bit of tunneling on the one side of the bread, you can see there. That was mostly due to my poor technique. Here's the second loaf. Slice her right down the middle. Get a good shot of the inside. This one came out a little bit cleaner. No real tunneling issues like the first one. Nice open crumb structure. And enjoy your roasted garlic herb sourdough. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell.